Namaskar everyone. Today we'll be talking about two topics of CSS, CSS Selector and the specificity. So if you haven't known, then this is our third video in CSS and the lecture 26 in the Web Tech Express playlist. So do not forget to check out that playlist. We have got a bunch of videos about web development over there, and we are still in CSS, and later on we are going to cover JavaScript and other frameworks for writing front end and back end in the web development. Means after you have check out this playlist completely, then you are going to be a full stack developer and you'll start to develop websites. So without doing any delay, let us start our today's topic. So our first topic today is CSS selector, but before that, let me write down the initial HTML structure, the basic one that is required for our project. So let's start that. HTML, we have got the head and the title. The title will be CSS selectors and specificity. So it will be hard to pronounce for this one for me. Okay. Same like that, we have got body over here, and we have to create a style.css. We are going to use external CSS over here. So style.css, and then we are going to link that CSS to our HTML file. Means our HTML file must have to know that there is a CSS that is linked with this one, so that we could apply the design or you could apply the principle over there, the CSS over there. So this is how we will link with CSS file. So this is the example of applying external CSS. So now let us write down a tag over here called as paragraph tag, and we will write down text inside that paragraph tag, the content. So this is a paragraph. Now let us open this with live server. Right click and open with live server. So here we have got our project. So the title, CSS selector and specificity, and the text, this is a paragraph. I will zoom this a little bit so that it will be clear for you how the text is looking. Now let me go to VS Code again, and then we will do all the thing inside the style.css. First, we'll be talking about the selectors, and after that we'll move towards the specificity. Now in CSS, how many selectors are there? So basically there are 4 to 5 or more than that also, but we'll talk about 4 to 5 types of selector over here today. And the very first selector we are going to use today is the tag selector. So if you go to index.html and see over there, you will see that we have got paragraph tag over here, and that paragraph tag has got some content inside it. So we will put different kind, we will try to style this by using different kind of selectors. So basically here this tag has got only tag to be noted over here, so that's why we're going to use tag selector over here. This is called as HTML tag selector. And obviously we have checked out the syntax in previous video, so we need a selector over here, and after that we need another thing called a CSS property. So we are going to change the text color. So the property is color, and we are going to change this into red. So that's why it will be red. So color is red. Now if you will go to the website or web page, then you can see that our text has changed into red color. So this is how we use the tag selector. Now this is easy because we have done this yesterday also. Now same like that, what kind of selectors are there then? The next one, what we'll be discussing is about the class selector, which is widely used whenever you are writing CSS into the project or into your website. So let me comment this out and how we use class selector. So before using class selector, then you have to keep class for that tag. Just for example, suppose if you have got paragraph tag over here, and let me write down some text over here. This is a second paragraph. Okay. Now, if I will go to style.css and uncomment this, then you could see that we have got paragraph tag selector over here, and we have changed the color of the text to red. Now we have got two paragraph tag which has got content inside it. If I will go to the web page, and you can see that both paragraph has their text in red color. Now What if you want different color in these two paragraph then? So it can be possible without the other selector. Means tag selector cannot fulfill the requirement. If you want different color within the same selector or different style within the same tag. So that's why we need this classes for that one. So that's why we are going to write down here. We are going to give class over here by using class attribute. The first one, the first class will be first paragraph, and the second one will have a class name as second paragraph. So after that, how do we use that in CSS then? So we have to use class selector for that one. Let me write down the type also. So first one is tag selector. After that, we are going to do second one called as class selector. So how to use that? So whenever you have to use class selector, you have to keep full stop at the front in the front, and then after that you have to name the class. So the classes which I have used over here is first paragraph and second paragraph. So first paragraph and next class will be second paragraph. Now the text which I put class called first paragraph will change that to red, and the text which I've got second paragraph as class will change that color to, let's not say white, blue. You could see that we have class selector over here. First one is first paragraph, second one is second paragraph, and you will see that the classes over here in HTML file, we have got paragraph tag which has got class of first paragraph, and paragraph tag which has got class of second paragraph. Now, if we will go to the web page, then you will see that our first paragraph, that is the previous one or the upper paragraph, which has got class as first paragraph, has changed into red, and the second paragraph, which has got class the same, has changed into blue. So this is how our class selector works. Same like that, we have got another selector also over here called as ID. So we can do that thing also. Just for example, I will name as first paragraph as ID. The second paragraph, I will give the ID as second paragraph. No need to worry about the names. The name can be different later on whenever you are writing the code. But for now, we are giving the same ID name as that of class. So the third one is called ID selector. So basically, whenever you are using CSS, we use class selector. But whenever you are learning JavaScript, then you will use ID selector at that time. So ID selector will usually come after you have started to learn JavaScript. But for knowledge, now you have to know about the ID selector also. So whenever you have to use ID selector, you have to put the hashtag at the very front and then with the name of the ID. So the name of the ID is first paragraph, as you could see in the HTML file. Same thing, we'll change that color into blue now. Just we'll do the exact opposite one. And for the second one, we'll change the color into red. So we'll do this thing over here. After we have changed the color over here, we have used the ID selector over here. So our first paragraph has changed into blue. Our second paragraph has changed into red. This is how we can use three different types selector over here. Now we have told that at the very first that we'll discuss about the 4 or 5 types of selector. The next one is called as the universal selector. How it works then? The fourth one is called universal selector. So in universal selector, you could use like this also. We have got asterisk over there, and let me change it as color red. Now how it works then? So after we have, you can see that I have commented out all those things. Means this code won't work into our projects. So this is the only one which has not been uncommented till now. So this is the only code that will be working from our CSS file. So asterisk, this is universal sign, and obviously the CSS property and value color red. Now if I will go to the if we'll go to the web page, then you will see that our both paragraph is in red color. But That doesn't make a difference, right? Because while you have used HTML tag, we have got the same result. Now, what's the difference thing? Now, if I will go to index.html and create another tag over here called as heading, the heading 1. So paragraph tag is completely different from heading 1, right? Yes. So, and I will go to the web page, you could see that heading also have got the same color, means they are applying the same CSS property. So if you are using asterisk, then it is a CSS property or CSS style that will be applied throughout each and every HTML element that can be found in your project. So whenever you are using universal selector, you have to be careful that it will disturb the CSS styling of each and everything in your project. Now, after that, after we have learned about the universal selector, then we have got another selector also. So our next selector will be 5.1 HTML attribute selector. Okay, what does that mean then? So it is basically used whenever you are using input tag. Just for example, here we have got input tag with type is equal to text, and I could style this over here by just using input tag only. Just for example, I can make it as color red. Fine. If I will go to the project and try to write something over there, it will change the red in color. Fine. Same like that. We may have got different kind of input element over there, like input type is equal to password. Yes, password. Okay. Now if I try to type password, you can see that the password is also in red color. That means both the input element over here are using the same CSS styling, because we have done or we have styled by using input, that is tag selector. So both tag is having the same CSS property. But we could have done this with classes and IDs also. That's fine. But we could style those input element by using the HTML attribute selector. So how we do that thing then? So input, inside square bracket, we have to write down type, that is the attribute used over there, called text. Now, if I'll go to the website, then you will see that the password has got its default styling, while if you go to the text, that is the first one, input type equal text, it has got color changed into red. This is how we use HTML attribute selector also. Now, how it really affects our project then? So what happens is that whenever you have got a bunch of input tag which have used text, and there might be other things like date, password, or file, or different kind of input tag over there. Now if you want the similar CSS styling all over the input tag where it is text, then you can use this method. You can use the HTML attribute selector over there. Now you could have used classes also, like class, but what it does is that it will try to, or it will make your code long. That is, you have to add an extra additional thing called classes over there, which will make your code a little bit more difficult to understand. Means the number of code will be more, and same like that, if the number of code is more, then it will be have more complex structure. It will be difficult to understand. The size of your file will get higher, means the speed of your website might get slower. Means if you have got less number of code, then size will be less. Conclusion, that is the conclusion that you have to make. If you have got less code, less size means more speed. So it can have a lot of effect on your project. So that's why you can use the HTML attribute selector in those kind of cases. Now, as well as we have got another thing called combined selector also. How you can use is that let us discuss the later on. So after we have talked about selectors, then let's talk about the specificity also. So what specificity really means then? So it is a kind of rule in CSS that helps to decide which CSS rule or which CSS selector will win over here. Means we have seen different kind of selector over here. Yes or no? So we have seen the universal selector, we have seen the tag selector, then we have seen the class and ID selector. So we have seen the 4 to 5 different types of selector over here. But we are going to compare just 5 kind of selector over here only. And same like that, we had got inline style also, yes or no? So let me write on the topic over here first, specificity. So in specificity, so how we can apply CSS? So we have got inline CSS. Then after that, we had got the tag selector. Then after that, we have got the class selector, then ID selector, and then universal selector. So we have got this kind of selector over here and this kind of method to apply the CSS then. Now, whenever you are applying CSS over here, so how you could apply the CSS and which CSS property or which CSS selector will you use over here? So for example, I'll go to index.html first and erase all this code over here, thus this one also, and then here the heading one also. Okay, here we have got paragraph tag, yes or no, which have got class as first paragraph, then ID as first paragraph, and let me write down another thing also called style attribute, which has got color as gray. Okay, so if I will go to the website, then you could see that our paragraph has changed into green in color. So why is it happening so? Because we have got style attribute which has got color green. So means we are using inline style over here. Now we are going to remove this now. Basically, we are going to start from the standard CSS. So first we are going to start from universal selector over here. So we could see how universal selector works. Means if we give color over here, like color is equal to blue, then that color will be applied throughout each and every tag used in our project or through each and every element used in our project. So color blue. This is a paragraph. It has changed into blue color. Same like that. Now we could have used another thing called as element over here. I will go through the different serials over here. So second one, we are going to use the tag selector. So it is a paragraph tag, so that's why P, and color will be given as L. Now if I will go to the website or web page and look over there, you could see that the color of the text has changed into yellow. Now why is it so? Because this paragraph has got more specificity than the universal selector. Look, you can see over here, if I hover over this one, it has shown the selected specificity also like 000, and if you could see here we have got all the value as 0. But if I go to paragraph, that tag selector, you could see that the selector specificity is 001, means it has got 1 more than the paragraph tag. While now just a little bit more than this, if you want to override this property over here like color yellow, but if you want to override this one, or if you use class selector like first paragraph and apply some CSS property over there, like color is let us say violet, VIOLET, violet. Okay. Now if I will do over here like this, PARAGRAPS paragraph, then if I go to website, you will see that the color has changed into violet. Why is it so? Because we have used class selector over here. Okay. Now same like that. Now if we use ID selector, if we have got paragraph selector, we have got universal selector, you have got the class selector also. But instead of those selector, if you try to use the ID selector over there, like color is aqua, then all the CSS property or CSS styling will get overridden by the ID selector. If I go to the web page, then you can see that the color has changed into aqua. Okay, that means above all the selector over here, the ID selector has got the highest specificity. If I hover over here, you can see that we have got the highest one at the very front. If I go to the class selector at the middle, you can see one, middle one, paragraph, You can see that it has got the lowest one. And if we talk about selector, it does not have got specificity. We usually denote it as having specificity value as 0. Whenever you have to denote this by using value, we usually call that the universal selector have got specificity value of 0. Then same like that, tag selector have got a specificity of 100. Then class selector have got the value of 100, sorry, tag 10 and class 100. ID have got the specificity of 1000. While above all this thing, we have got inline CSS. This is above all those things. Like if I will go to index.html and try to write out style attribute over here and color is equal to brown, then it will override all those CSS selector over there and apply the CSS which is used inside the inline or inside the HTML tag. So above all the method over here, the inline method will be or will have got the highest value over here. And this doesn't mean that I'm writing the ID selector at the bottom. That's why it is applying that. It's not like that. If I will take this towards the middle, still, let me remove this one so you can see better. Okay. So having this ID selector in the middle, still this ID selector will have got the win-win situation over here. Like if I'll go over here, the color has changed into aqua. So it doesn't matter wherever your ID is selector is over there or whenever your class selector is over there, they works on the basis of their specificity value. That's how it works. That's how the CSS rule works. So you have to understand that whenever you are using in your project. So whenever you are writing CSS in your project, if you do not understand this, then you might have got a situation where you try to put a different CSS styling over there, but your web page show a different one because you could have used different kind of selector over there, and those selector may come from the same tag or same HTML element, and due to the difference in the specific value, they might bring some difference in your design. Now, above all this thing, we have got another thing also, which is above all those matter. That is, we have got, let us say, paragraph tag. Obviously, paragraph tag has got the lowest and least specificity, means it the CSS property which is used over here that should not have to be seen. But if I'll write here color and let me write color is equal to pink, color pink. And then I will use one thing over here, important with the value. So if I will write down this thing, you could see that it will override all the CSS styling given inside different kind of select. So this is above all. If I will go to style, if I will write down here style also, like style, color, brown, still you will see that we have got this in pink situation. So if you will write down that value along with the CSS value, then you could see that it will override all the property from other selector. So you have to be absolutely very careful whenever you are using this not important sign. This is how specificity works. But same like that, we have got combined selector also. This is the last thing which we'll discuss in this video, how combined selector works. So let us see then what I'm going to tell over here. So let us suppose that we have got div tag, and the inside div tag we have got paragraph, and the paragraph is, this is a paragraph. Okay, now I will write down here class is equal to red, not red, class is equal to container. Okay, I'll go to style CSS, remove all this thing. Fine, we have returned to normal, the default styling over here. And then, like, how we could style this thing then. We have a different kind of way for styling this paragraph tag over here. Like first one, by using simple paragraph tag, yes or no? Second one is that we could use combined selector also over here. What a combined selector means? We have got div tag over there and we have got paragraph tag. Inside that div tag, we have got paragraph tag. So div p, and then if I will give a color red, you will see that this text has changed into color red. Same like that. Next thing is that if I will write down div dot container p and color change into yellow. Now you might notice something over here. Sorry, div dot. Okay, L. Yes. So you might notice something over here. What I have done. So I have used two different ways or two different selector over here. The first one is paragraph selector. I will give this color as green. Obviously, it won't be shown over in the web page because that will have got the lowest specificity. But second one, we have got a div, and inside the div we have got a paragraph. So div paragraph and color red. So it also does not show that styling over the web page. Third one, div with the class name, container, and the paragraph. Now we are able to see the CSS styling written inside this last one, the last type of selector. Now how it works then? So it depends upon the specificity. So how we calculate that and how do you know without looking at the web page which CSS property is going to be applied over your project or over your web page. So this is the most important thing. Remember this one. This can be asked whenever you have gone to the interview process also. This might be the earlier phase when you are listening this thing, but this might be an important thing that can be asked by the interviewer. So how we calculate that? So let us see. Calculating the specificity. So first we have got paragraph tag, obviously. Now paragraph tag, that is tag selector. So it has got a specificity of 10. So here it has got a specificity of 10. Just 10 only, okay? The second one, we have got deep tag over there, and then that is a tag selector, right? Deep tag. And then another we have got paragraph tag. That is also a tag selector. So 10 plus 10, we have to sum that is equal to 20. Then same like that, the next one, we have got tag called deep tag over there. After that, we have got class. What is the value of class selector? 100. So 100 plus, look, after that we have got tag. So 10. It will be 120. So it has got the highest. This third one has got the highest specificity over here. That's why this will have got a win-win situation over all the selector over here. But still, what I'm going to tell you is that if I will write a color brown with the marking as not important, then that will have got the win situation. It does not matter what kind of selector are you using, or you are using comment selector, or while using comment selector, the specificity can range up to 2000, 4000, or more than that. It does not matter over here. Always, whenever you are using this not important, that will be used in your CSS property as the value. So thank you for today. This is the topic which we have discussed today, and it's very important. It has to be known whenever you are designing with CSS. So stick with us for different kind of videos, and we'll talk about different kind of CSS styling. Also, we'll talk about the advanced topic, different kind of animations, different kind of effects. So thank you for today. Goodbye.